Good morning, lovely people. I think we are now live. So let's give you a little scan round while getting everybody on board. I'm back on my squeaky stool, so just to forewarn you. So let's have a look. There's Julie. Hello, Julie. Good morning, Ruth. No, sorry, Gemma. Don't read backwards, Rainey, read from the front. So welcome to the two of you. I can see all the little eyes appearing in the corner, so I think we're good to go. So let's give you a little scan. So this is a very, very different table to what I normally do, but this morning is a combination of crystal gridding, chatting about it, having a little introduction to it. So a lot of the table is took up with grid examples, and I've got a big space in front of me so that I can make a grid or two. Oh, let me look up there. So good morning to Claire Chip, Jane Dempster and Susanna. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And the other half of this morning, as well as things to do with gridding. So if I look up on that little display there, those would all be great crystals to use on a grid. Morning, Jess. And this is the bit I couldn't resist. I had a stunning delivery this week, and yeah, I couldn't resist. So I've just put some of them out to show you. Some beautiful pieces have arrived. So obviously I've put the big sort of more eye-catching wowzer pieces out, but just to remind us all, I've put some of the littler, smaller ones over this side as well, either new in or back in. Things like the little dragons we've been waiting on. We've got some new little toadstool carvings and new trees as well. So that is why the table is looking so very different to what it normally looks like. So we'll explore these as and when sort of people ask, but I'm going to start with the gridding. I'll do my normal. I'll probably flip backwards and forwards, just responding to comments. Somebody has just said, OMG, look at her dragon. That's Susanna. Yeah, we've got two beautiful dragons. We've lost, let me move him that way a little bit, because I lost the end of his nose on the black background. So I've got the triple one in the ruby and zoisite, and beautiful. It's actually rose quartz. It's very, very pale though. So at times he looks like a clear quartz, or she, but actually it's a beautiful pale rose quartz. So yes, really, really pleased with what's come in. And I think I need to let Hazel, if she joins us this morning, look at the Buddha head, but I couldn't quite remember who was waiting for the other types of Buddha heads to come in, and I forgot to look it up. So sorry about that, Hazel, if it's you. So let's come around here and let's start talking about gridding. Or let's just ignore the camera a bit. We'll start talking about gridding and get ourselves going. So yeah, pink tint. There is indeed a pink tint. Morning, Shelley. Let me just, I'm just going to lay that flat because I think it's 150, but I just need to pick it up and check. It's 150. I wanted to check so I didn't mislead you. It is big. That's about 10 centimeters tall, thick and wide as well. Beautiful piece. I am partial to a nice dragon carving myself, I have to say. So that was an answer to Claire. Now, Sue Ellis Brown, good morning, my lovely. I've just seen your message. Dragons and the crystal skull. So the big, I'll come back over this bit before we start the gridding. So we've just looked at the big one there, 150. This one, which is the ruby in zoisite, the triple dragon, that's 99. And this huge skull is 89. Huge clear quartz skull. Now I forget how wide that is. I think it might be 8 centimeters, but I'm going to check that, because yeah, it's an 8 centimeter, 8 centimeter wide. Now the other thing that we have in a skull, which is really, really unusual, it's a triple skull. It's the red veined jasper, and this is actually be done like a totem pole, and it's the see no evil, even speak no evil, hear no evil. I did that in the wrong order, but you get the gist. So I thought that was rather gorgeous as well. I've had something similar once before, but much smaller. So this is a real wowzer tall piece, and that was about 12, just over 12 centimeters tall. That one comes up. So let me lodge my arm so I'm not shaking it about, and then I can read the comments. Morning, Lara. Oh, Susanna's got a slip disc. That's not good. So yeah, one of the grids that we're going to look at actually is general pain relief. So that should give you some ideas. Okay, so happy to go back to any of those if anybody wants to have a look, but just for now I'll come back where we were and show you the rest of the grids that we've got on the table. And we need to talk about sort of options really before I get into a little how to make one. We'll talk about options. So let's start with these two. These would give quite a good example of differences. So when I asked for suggestions, one of the things that came, and I think this was from Sonia, this might have been, one of the options was a board for vitality and self-confidence. So for vitality and self-confidence, I've done a big wowzer and a smaller sort of little cheaper, more cheerful. But the thing with gridding is however you make them, the result is all about your intent, and as long as you're using the right mix of crystals, you can get results from a whole range of things, and this is the nice thing about it. So let's look at this one at the back first. So I will do a sort of breakdown of it a bit later, but this is it's really big really, isn't it, for a crystal grid? But why not? They don't have to be little flat boards. You can make a grid however you want. You can put big raw rocks around your garden and make a grid within your garden area. So it's all sizes, all shapes, really doesn't matter. So what I did with this one, carnelian is like your primary crystal for the sacral chakra, which is all connected to vitality and self-confidence. So I actually chose to make my center stone. And that terminology of focus stone, I'll explain a little bit further in a minute. So on this one, I have started it with a carnelian tree as my focus stone in the middle. So because it was a big focus stone, I've gone for some slightly bigger stones than normal in the grid as well. And I've put it all onto a white board that I could pick up and move. So this one, the stones within it are all about vitality and confidence. You've got carnelian, sunstone, you've got your calcites. I've used citrine to make one of the circles around the centre stone. I've put some tiger's eye, some lovely small tiger's eye points in the corners, sort of like sentries. There's one in each corner, on guard of the whole grid in my mind. And sometimes you want a bit of pretty. Now this has got plenty because I've started with a tree, but what I did just down here in each corner by the little corner sentry point, there's a little pyrite turtle. So it's an appropriate stone, and it's pretty at the same time. Now sometimes you just deviate from crystals and you might add flower petals or feathers or anything really that works for you. Now let me just pop back up because I need to stay on top of comments this morning. Right, so advice on a self-love grid, please. Yes, absolutely. Now, funnily enough, the one that I've used as the mini grid for self-confidence, we would be halfway there with that. So when we talk about that one, I'll do a little swap on it, so that you can see how we could perhaps change some of the crystals and alter the layout. But it is about intent, which we'll come to in a minute. Yes, Claire Chip, absolutely. So my first thing I would say from a tutorial point, this morning is all about how I make crystal grids. And in my mind, there are no rules. Let's start with that. There is not a right and a wrong. It's about what works for you, what ticks your boxes, what engages you. So if you're worried about, oh, I don't really want to start my grid off because I'm a bit frightened I might do it wrong, chuck that thought straight out the window. You can't do it wrong. You might be able to do it better another day when you've got more knowledge, but you can't do it wrong. Make a start, have a go. Rules are not relevant at all. It's about intuition. It's about your thought process and how you feel. So if you feel that you want to put something in a certain place, put it in that place. If you read a book and that book says to you, you shouldn't do that, stop reading the book. that would be my advice. Now, here's an example of what I'm talking about. So around the edge here, I've used seashells. And the reason I've used seashells in this one is because this is all about sleeping or lack of sleep. So this is a crystal grid for insomnia. So some of the crystals are well known to help with insomnia. You've got your white howlite, you've got your celestite, you've got your clear quartz, which we're going to talk about as amplifiers, and the paler amethysts. And when I'd finished that, I thought, actually, I want my space near my bed to stay cleansed and pure. So I just added a couple of small bits of desert rose, which has got the properties of selenite. And then I thought, it's still missing something. So I went round the edge, and this time I chose to edge it with seashells, because to me, the sea is a really relaxing place. Now, if you're a sailor by trade, a fisherman, you probably wouldn't think of the sea as a relaxing place because you have to deal with the storms. But my interactions with the sea are all about crashing out on the beach, having a snooze and being really relaxed. So to me, seashells worked perfectly on an insomnia grid. And this is what I mean about go with your intuition, go with what works for you. So I'm just going to look back up to the comments. Oh, Tanya, that's horrible. Okay, well, whatever, we'll sort out, honey. Don't worry about it. As long as you've spoke to them, so you've got them blocked, so nothing can go through your account. Lara, yep, you love the shells. It is a really sort of, to me, relaxing addition. So one more thing then, before I start with a little example. Well, probably be two more things, but you know, if I was putting this together for sale, I did do a sort of costing to work it all out. So this board that we're looking at, the mixture of the crystals and the board, that would be up for sale for £39 as a complete set. Somebody might choose to lay them out a little bit differently, and that would be fine because it would be your grid. And you can sell them as sets, because I wouldn't have activated anything. So we'll talk about activation a little bit later. So this is ready to go, but it's not activated until the person who's going to be using it does the activation ritual on it. But sometimes £39 is too much money to spend. So you whether it's your current situation or whether it's like you have a bit of trouble sleeping but not too much, so you're not going to worry about it too much. So what I've done is to sort of show options. Let me come over here. There's bound to be some oopsies this morning, so I've got to move boards about. So this one, I've done another sleep grid. You can see it's smaller. So this is 10 centimetres. That's my doorbell. Sorry about that. We'll just ignore it though. Danny will answer it. The other one is probably 20 centimetres then, I'm guessing, looking at them. So this one, it's still a sleep grid, but there's less crystals and they are cheaper crystals. Because on this one, I mean, you've got an apple, which is one of the sort of fancy little ornaments, and we've got amethyst, violet amethyst spheres, which are always quite expensive. So what I've done on here, I've kept white howlite as my focus stone in the middle because it's for insomnia, but then around it I've put 4 of the little hearts, chevron amethyst, and 4 of the celestite little raw chunks. And that, although much smaller, doesn't have as much on it, but that is a perfectly good grid to keep by your bed and activate it with the intent of helping you sleep and fighting insomnia. So that one, I would be able to sell that as a complete set with the board and everything for £12. So it's all about budget. Just because you can't make one of these, either because you haven't got the crystals or you can't afford it at the moment, start with one of those. Another day you can expand on it. The little hearts on their own here, they're £1 each. And what we're doing, I've actually lumped them in with the other hearts that I've got. So we're doing £1 each, or we're going to do 6 for £5. So I'll get a little board out and show you the options in a minute. Let me just check. Susanna, you're not the only one. You'd be amazed the amount of time I get pictures from people saying, any chance you can identify these crystals for me? Now, just to come back to this one for a minute. Oh, hang on, I'm going to cough. It's going to wobble. Excuse me. It might be that you're not buying a little mini grid, but making a little mini grid yourself. Now, I put this on there because I thought it was nice, but it might be, if insomnia has been an issue for you, you might already have a white howlite thumbstone. So we could just put the white howlite thumbstone in the middle, which you might already have in your collection, and there we go. Equally as effective. It just is a case of what you like the look of and what you've got to hand. So hopefully that made a little bit of sense about choices and options. Let me come back up. Right, so Shelley's question, different shapes? Absolutely not. Absolutely not at all. Now, I tend to go for matching shapes just because somewhere in my head I quite like the look of that. But just as a little example, on this one here, on the bigger amethyst points, I've actually used 2 of these and then 2 of these. So they are both points but completely different shapes. And similarly, I'm just going to give an example because that's a really good question. Hold that thought. I'm just looking for something. Oh, here we go. Right, let's pop up over here. Right, so this one here is quite a simple but effective grid, which has been done for cleansing and protection. You've got your clear quartz on it, you've got some smoky quartz, and you've got some black tourmaline. Quite a simple but very effective. Now, because obviously I'm lucky, I've got loads of crystals to hand, so I've put on it 4 of the black obsidian conch shells, but let's take 2 of them off, because maybe I've only got 2 of those, but I've got 2 of the lovely black obsidian stars. So what is important to me really is that the energy of those crystals is the same. So they're now all black obsidian, so I'm happy, but they are different shapes, and that will work exactly the same as when I had 4 of the conch shells. So hopefully that puts that answer into sense for you. Yeah, different shapes, good. Right, Shelley, they do. Yeah, absolutely. Now, the only thing I would say is, if you decided that you're going to make this grid and you're going to activate it, and then another day you bought another 2 of the conch shells and you wanted to swap them over, I'll talk through this at the end of the demo. I would finish the grid, say thank you, remove what I was no longer having on it, pop my new crystals on it, and then I would reactivate it. Because if you just swap them over, the new ones kind of haven't been connected and activated with the rest of the crystals and with your intent. So I would sort of finish it and then reactivate it. So that was in answer to, well, Shelley's again, I guess. Julie, yes. Now, the sphere stands you can claim 4, but I think you probably might want to claim 7. Let me explain to you why. Let me drop down here. So, just here we have the little sphere stands that Julie was talking about, and we use those. You can see them up there on the 25mm spheres. So normally we do those at 80p each, I think is the price of them, but because people, I thought, might be buying them if they wanted spheres on their grid, or sometimes maybe not even a sphere. If I pick one of these up, this is one of the bigger newer tumbles that have come in. It's a chrysocolla one, but you might want it raised. If it didn't sit flat, you might want a little raiser to take it up a little bit so that it does sit flat. So what I thought I would do is put, today you've got 7 there for a £5, and I will repeat that on £5 day on Wednesday. So if anybody wanted to top up, I just need to do the maths, make make sure that's right. 7, 8, yeah, 7 8's 56, aren't they? So that works out cheaper. So you get 7 of them for the £5. Okay, so we're okay with that one. So you're welcome to have 4. So 4 8's £3.20. You let me know what works for you. If you just need 4, then obviously that makes sense. Right, Susanna, so reactivating, I'll make some grids in a minute, and then we'll talk about the activating bit so that we can do the demonstration for you. Okay, so now Jess, just before I start the demo, this is in answer to Jess. Now, the little hearts that were over on that grid there, those are little puffy hearts. So that's that one just there, T6. So they're chevron amethyst puffy hearts. I also have these other hearts. So these are black obsidian, tiger's eye, rose quartz, labradorite. Now that's quite a dark chevron amethyst. Some of them will be that colour, some might be a little bit paler. Just to let you know, let's randomly grab another one out of the drawer, just so that, what's that one look like? Oh, that one's quite stripy. So the chevron amethyst, they will all be slightly different. And then at the bottom, I've only got 2 stars in at the moment. I've got the clear quartz and the amethyst. Waiting on some more of those to come in different colours. So the idea of this board here is I don't know what I did to my screen then. So the idea of this board here is that any of the items that you see on it are £1 each, or you can have 6 in total for a £5. So you could say you want 3 of those and 3 of those. So because that's 6 in total, that would be a £5. So I hope that makes sense. And I think that was in answer to pin. I'm hoping it just reappeared, because I'm not quite sure what happened. I think it was my big fat sausage fingers must have touched a button on my screen, and I think I just did something weird, but I can see it back. So hopefully you're all hearing me again now. So I can see comments just come through, so I think I must be live again. Yes, I'm back. Thank you, Sharon. Susanna, yeah, we'll do T6 for you. Thank you very much. Yes, good, I'm back. That's what we like to hear. So what I'm going to do now is pop this in the holder, which is probably a good idea, and then I can't do anything stupid to it. And I'll, well, as long as I don't drop the whole camera. Oh dear, sorry about all that wobble. Right then, the board's going to one side, but I'm happy to bring that back later if somebody wants to see it. And we will do creating a grid from scratch so that we can concentrate on the different phases that are needed to do this. So what I've done, I've just positioned 2 boards side by side. Now one of them's probably going to look a little skew with, because we're not like right flat in front of them, so that it will look a little bit sideways. But I'll make a grid, but I'm going to duplicate it using complete right. I think I've worked out what it was. I saw the message that time. It was asking me to do a update. So hopefully I've managed to turn that off, and that won't happen again. So these are empty boards, but bear with me. We will go through the process. Right. So the very first stage of your process And at the end, I'm going to show you how you remember the processes and what order to do them in. So you're all going to learn about IFLAME because I like something that helps me remember the order of things. So what we're starting with first is the I, and that stands for intent. So the intent of these two boards are going to be achieving my goals, manifesting my future that I want. So it's all about manifesting, achieving, focusing myself so that I attain what I want. So with the intent being all about manifestation and achieving goals, the first thing that I'm going to do is have in my mind a little thought process. So I'm still under I for IFLAME, and my intent is focus myself to achieve and then come up with a specific goal. So I'm going to focus myself to achieve more live sales in April. How's that? That'll be my intent for this morning. Once you've got an intent, so my intent is all about manifestation and achievement, then what we need to do next is have a think. Let me just get my board where I can pull some crystals from. So now that I've got my intent, I can choose what crystals I'm going to use. And I wanted to share with you how I do this, because it makes sense to me. If it doesn't make sense to you, you'll find your own way of doing it. So what I've done, I'm in the research stage. I know what I want to achieve, but I need to find out what crystals to use. Now, although I'm quite lucky because I've got access to so many crystals, that still doesn't mean I always remember everything that I need to. I still have to look stuff up. So my first thing I did a search on, and I tend to use not just the general internet, I tend to use my books. So my Judy Hall books, and I've got quite a lot of other ones as well. So I do a little sit down with some books and go through. So I wrote out a list, what crystals are good for manifesting, and I wrote that down. Then I did other searches. So goals, achievement, focus and new beginnings were the other things that I searched on. And then I start thinking, are there crystals that go across more than one area? So moonstone, for instance, that is under manifesting and it's under new beginnings, and I want to change how I'm doing my lives. So it is about a new beginning almost, so it kind of works for me. So that kind of says to me, okay, one of them let's make with moonstone. So I've got that in my mind now. Going to use some moonstone. And if we take ourselves back for a moment to IFLAME, we've covered the eye. What I'm working on now is picking out the crystals. So moonstone was my first one. I'm going to use apatite, I think, as well, because that's really good for manifesting. And there's some others that swap over between them. So we've got hematite there. And somewhere else, I forget where it was. We've got lepidolite in a couple of places. Most people have got amethyst to hand, so that's probably a good one to use. Preonite, I really like working with preonite, so I'll probably use some of that. So once I've highlighted the crystals that I want to use, I then need to make my first choice. So this F stands for focus stone. Your focus stone is the big crystal that sits in the middle of the grid, or a little crystal, but it's the one in the middle. So on that sleep one that we looked at, it was the white howlite apple. So I need a couple of focus stones, so I'm going to do one as moonstone. So we'll pop that in the middle over there. And let's do one as, I could do Appetite, or I'm just thinking that's a smooth one, so that we make them look very different. Maybe I could do this one with Apophyllite. So either or, I could go through either of these. Maybe I'll go Appetite because it looks better on the camera. The Apophyllite got a little bit lost, didn't it? Now, your focus stone, how is best to describe a focus stone? So I would describe it as, it's almost like an antenna. So let me sit down again. So the antenna is going to take your intent up out there into the universe. So this focus stone is really important. You need to hold it, you need to tell it what your intent is. So if I were doing this on my own, it'd be in a nice, quiet, relaxed space. I try and do it. I would sit and I would hold my focus stone and I would think about my intent. The whole, I need to focus on achieving more live sales through April. That's what we said I was going to do today, wasn't it? So hold it, think about it. You don't have to say it out loud. It can be in your head, what I refer to as like in your mind's eye. So that would be part of this stage, picking the stone, telling the stone what's happening, and then placing it into the center of your grid. Now, after you have done that, we need to think about the other stones. Just before I move on to that, I've done these ones here as a representative crystal, using the crystal that matches my intent. Sometimes you can use the center stone to represent a person. So when we have a little look a bit later at that one at the back, I've put a little wolf. So the stone itself is irrelevant, but I've chosen a wolf because the lady that I was thinking about when I made this one, wolf is a totem animal. That's one of the things I know about her. So I chose a wolf. So it just depends on whether it's for you, for somebody else, as to what type of focus stone you're going to go for. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay, so next up then, let us think about the other stones. So this is the layout, the general layout next. Now, I don't know if you would have heard that, but there was a thud, thud, thud. And that was two squirrels running across the cabin roof. They're playing tag this morning, apparently. They keep chasing each other around the garden. So if you do hear that again, that's what it is. We're not sort of falling down or anything. Okay, so we've done intent. Let's bring this. We've done intent. We've done the focus stone. Now I'm on the general layout. This is what the L is standing for. So with the general layout, all I'm doing is thinking about those crystals that I decided that would work in this layout. Remember, I did the list, and we're going to take some of those crystals and pop them around the stones that we've got here. So because Appetite is such a strong manifestation crystal, I am going to pop some Appetites just around my pyramid over on that one. Obviously I don't need to do it on the other focus stone, but with the other focus stone, perhaps I'll go preonite, and I'll probably do more preonite further out, to be honest. But preonite it's almost like we're adding even more manifestation intent. So I did the other one with 4. Let's do this one with 6. Doesn't have to be the same. It's whatever takes your fancy. And remember, you might want to do 6, but if you've only got 4, then you'll do 4. Okay. Now, I might choose to have another layer around next, or I might go straight for some what they call directional stones. Now, directional stones, let's explain what that means. Let's use some of these. Right, nearly every grid that I make for myself, I like to include some clear quartz into it. So one way of doing that is having some clear quartz points, doesn't matter whether they're single or double, for this particular grid that we're doing, and we could lay some of those out. So the reason I'm laying these with the points going outward from the center stone is, so if I pick one up, you can see there's a point that end and it's cut off that end, so I'm pointing this outwards. I've just read roses. I'll do that as a separate question because that's a bit of a long answer. So I'll do that as a separate thing. So the reason I've got the point coming out here is because I want my intent, the focus, the determination, I want that to come out into the room that I'm working in. I want it to come out into the universe. So I've got my points coming out, if that makes sense. Now, in other times, I'm just thinking, have I got one here that would give us that? Okay. Let me pick up. I don't know if I can pick this up. Right, be prepared for a crash bang. Hopefully that won't happen. Now, in this grid, actually, I didn't have pointed ends. I've just used little short, they're blunt ones both sides. Paula, I did 6 of the stars. So what I'm going to do, because I pick up all of the comments anyway the day after when we go through them, through the little tutorial bit, I won't acknowledge the orders, but obviously you'll see them on your invoice and you can check with me if anything's missing. But yes, I did. Thank you. Now, what I'm trying to do with this grid, the intent of this was to strengthen group ties, to bring group unity, to bring friendship and companionship and a sense of belonging, all of that. I'm trying to put it into a person. So on this one, if these were pointed, the point would be going in, because I'm trying to infuse or instill something into the representative stone. On the pain relief one, any points would be coming away from the center stone, because with pain you want to draw it off, don't you? So you're not sending it in, you're drawing pain off. So that's what we mean by directional stones. If you're going to use them with points on them, just make sure that they're going in the right direction. Now, you might have, let's get a little box of things. Okay, you might have, on the other one, we'll do it completely different. instead of adding directional stones at that stage, we're going to take more, but I'm going to up, whoopsie-daisy, I'm going to up the size of these ones, so they're still forming a circle. So it's all about what do you fancy doing at the time. So already these two are looking very, very different, but our intent is absolutely identical. So I've added some amethyst, because like, who doesn't love amethyst in their grid? Now, lepidolite is good for two things. Lepidolite is kind of best known for stress and anxiety, isn't it? But in actual fact, it's really good also for making you focus on achieving your goals. So I'm going to take, doesn't have to be 4, I'm going to take 2 lepidolites, and I've just lined them up, one top, one bottom. I wonder if that one would make more sense to you if it was pointing at the camera. That might be better. So I've got lepidolite there and there. Now, I do like balance, I have to say. So because I've added those, I'd really quite like 2 more of the little pyramids either side. I will use some clear quartz, so that I've got some of my clear quartz amplifier. If you put clear quartz in a grid, it just absolutely gives a boost to all of the other properties. Right, let me just do comments quick in case. Yes, I would point them inwards, because for the abundance grid, because I'm trying to draw whether it's the financial abundance, whether it's the abundance of love and happiness, I'm trying to draw it in and instill it into the representative of me, the person I'm doing it for. But yeah, I would point them in on an abundance grid. So I added some extras on that one there. Now on the other one, hematite. Let's think hematite, because this is another one which is really good at focus, improving your focus. And let's be honest, you can make a grid, you can make your intent, put it out to the universe, but that doesn't mean that you can then sit back and wait for it to happen. You've got to work hard yourself at making it happen as well. So let's have, on the other one, we'll have some hematite for focus. Where's my hematite? Okay, somewhere I've got some big hematite tumbles, but I can't find them. So what I'm going to do, you might remember these are actually magnetic. We sell these on £5 a stick of these. As long as they're far enough apart, they're not going to work as magnets. So I've got 4 hematites around the outside on that one. So I'm gradually working out, but I'll have more in those outer circles. Now, we could keep going for a while, because there's lots of crystals that would fit, depends on the size of your grid. But obviously we've got a limited amount of time to do this. So hopefully there is enough there that gets you the idea of focus stone, then the layout stones around it. But I am just going to finish off, because they don't look finished. I want a bit more of something on these. So I'm going to do it very simply, but you'll know from looking, if we just for a minute scoot over there, obviously that took a lot more care and detail and attention, well, on both of those two at the back. But just so that we can move forwards, let us take let's do some points around the edge. Okay, so I'm going to put some points around the edge of this one. Now these aren't going in or out, they're literally just forming the edge of the circle. And I could, even though I've worked my way out to the edge, I could still look at that and fill things in. So looking at that and thinking about the amplification and achieving what I want to achieve, I could go, do you know what? Tiger's eye. Tiger's eye is all about determination, it's about focus, it's about manifesting, so that would work brilliantly. So even though I'd worked out to the furthest bit, I'm now going to add another 4 crystals. I put 4 tiger's eye hearts. Doesn't matter with hearts really which way you're going. If you wanted to be really, really pernickety, you could say, well, we want to infuse that willpower. So as a heart has got a point at one end, we'll point it inwards. But I don't really think of hearts as pointed, so I wouldn't necessarily do that myself. You can actually see on the vitality one over here, I've got the hearts coming out. But that, again, personal choice. Do whatever resonates with you. So we finished off one of them. Now the other one needs some sorting out and finishing off, doesn't it? So what we could do, and let's do something that isn't balanced, so that we're not doing. Okay, so I quite like the point of it. It's around the edge. So I'm going to have a couple there. So that's sort of taking the energy around and keeping it in the circle. And again, I could add more to that, whether it was crystals, whether it will be a case of pretty, you know, you might look at that and think, oh, in those gaps there, wouldn't it be nice to have some pressed flowers? Yeah, whatever works for you is what we need you to do. Let me just go back because I think there's some, oh, lots of comments. Oh, bless. Okay, so I've gone right back to Claire. So we did the abundance. Yeah, citrine, brilliant for an abundance grid. Yes, the gridding sets, I've not priced most of these. I just did the 2 sleek ones as examples, but I can put them up if somebody wants the sets. I'm more than happy to put them up. Now, making notes, that's lovely. And yes, indeed, when we finish, I will post this live video up onto our page, so you can just watch it on replay. So, yeah, it will definitely be there for you to watch. So how long to leave a grid up? Until you think it's worked for you, I think would be my answer. Now, if you've made a grid because you've got a migraine, you might have that grid up for 2-3 days and it might be gone, and you can deactivate it and move the stone, say thank you very much. If you are trying to achieve, so these 2, if I were to actually activate them at the end, and my intent, remember, has been more grids for April, I would need to leave them running all the way through April. If it's a longer term one, so if it's about self-love, self-acceptance, potentially you could keep it going for 2 or 3 years, to be honest. You would need to cleanse it sometimes, and you would need to make sure you carry on interacting. So it is really about what's it for and how long would you would be appropriate for that particular intent, I guess, is my answer to Jess. The citrine tree, yes you can, Claire, indeed. You've spotted it around the other side. New box it will go in, no problem at all. Right, let me come back to here. So I could actually work with that one. This one I would want to add some more bits to it, but I'm going to stop so that we can move forward. The appetite egg is £22. I was looking for the price sticker, but it's not on there, but I know it's £22. It's quite a big fat egg. Lovely. Okay, let me just see where I'm at. Okay, so this is the important bit, IFLAME. This is to help you remember the process. We've done the intent. We've chosen our focus stones. We've done our layout. Okay, so that's where we're up to at the moment. So next up, this is the exciting bit. Next up, we need to activate our grid. Now, activating your grid. Most people use a wand for this, but you don't have to. If you don't have a wand, you could literally use your finger, because activating is about making your intent clear, not just to the focus stone, because you've already spoke to that and told it what its job is, but all of the rest of the crystals on your grid. Now this is one of those bits, the activating bit, where you can read 6 different books and have 6 different recommendations on how to do this. So what I'm about to do is how I do it. That doesn't mean that that's how you will settle on do it, but to me this works and I'm happy with it. So I do like to use a wand, because it's all about making it special, making it important. It's all about the symbolism to me. I'm very big on symbolism. I'm sure you've probably worked that out by now, to be honest. So I like to use a wand, so let's talk about wands first of all. So I just grabbed a few of the different ones that we have. Now, you might be a crystal healer, so you might have something like this in your arsenal anyway. So this is Big Posh, £39, beautiful clear quartz healing crystals wand. Or you might be a beginner. You might be very experienced but on an incredibly tight budget. We're all at different parts of our life journey, aren't we? So you could use this. This is a clear quartz point that's been auraed. So to me, because it's been auraed, it's just a bit different and a bit more special than the standard points that I've used in the grid. We sell these for £1. So whatever works for you is what you can do. Now, if you aren't on a tight budget and you like symbolism, look at these. I've got some, I'm so excited. I've got some magic wands. Now I've only got, well, 2 of these because I've kept one. I just got 3 of these in to try, because these are £29 each. So really, and they're actually fluorite. They're clear fluorite rather than clear quartz. So from a point of view of value for money, the real wowzer quality is probably more value for money, because it's bigger, and clear quartz is valued in a lot of the sort of Reiki and what have you. But to me, it's just, I just love it. It's that whole symbolism. It's the whole, this is making a statement. I'm putting my magic into my grid. So I started to use my one of these for my grids. But like I said, it's whatever works for you. You can have one of these for £1. do not be put off by what you can and can't have. Just work with what you can have, and we go from there. So that's talked about wands. So the connecting and activating, so this is our A in IFLAME. Yes, selenite wand, absolutely. If you think about it, if you can use your finger, you can use anything. If somebody was very, very in touch with nature, wants to, you know, communicate with nature at all times, they might choose to go outside, find a really nice stick, give it a little carve, and just use a wooden stick as their wand to activate their grids. There is no right or wrong. It is literally do what works for you. I cannot emphasize that enough, because this is all about the intent and putting your thoughts out there into the universe. So I'm just going to do comments before I carry on. Susanna, how we will all do it from now on, bless you. What have we got here? So yes, thank you very much. The zoisite and the skull, they are yours, thank you. I will remember that they're yours. I won't move them, but we know they're yours. We've just done that one. Yeah, see, so Shelley, that resonated with you, didn't it? Go and find a really nice twig, stick, go for a nice walk, pick one up. That becomes your activation wand. It's just personalising the process, isn't it? Okay, so let me get back on track. We've talked about what we're going to use. So the next stage is with this activation is keep the thought of your intent in your head. So think about what I said when I was talking to my focus stones. So I want to achieve the focus and determination to do more live sales in April. So that's what I need to be saying. I can keep it in my head. I don't need it out loud. So I'll keep that going in my head while I carry on talking to you. Take your activation wand, and I always start in the in the middle where my focus stone is, because the focus stone is already infused with my intent. So I'm holding my wand, I'm thinking of my intent, they're kind of talking to each other and sharing that information. Now I do it in a swirly pattern. So from here we just go out to the first of our crystals, and I'm going to go round all the time thinking about my intent. I sometimes take it further, and I'm saying in my head to these crystals, can you please help me? Can you please share your energy with me to help me achieve my goal? And then I'm going out again all the way round, making sure I pick up every crystal that's on my grid. And then I'm going right up to the very edge, and I'm going to go around a third time. Better to do it more times than not enough times. Keep the intent going. So I finished asking for their help. Now I'm going to say thank you. Thank you for helping me. To me, that's just about manners. Some of you might be rolling your eyes at me now. But I don't care really. If I'm asking for somebody to help, then it's the right thing to say please and thank you. So after I've done that bit, I'm saying to them in my head, I'm having that conversation. Thank you. I look forward to working with you. And in these ones, I can be more precise. I can say, I look forward to working with you for the next month, because this is through April. Now, there's a question there about clockwise. There are some people say that you use clockwise for certain things, anti-clockwise for getting rid of negativity, clockwise for bringing positive stuff in. I've read that in different books. Personally, whenever I start this process, whatever it's for, I find myself going clockwise. So I use clockwise for everything. I would go with what feels right, I guess, is what I would say. What you can do is try it. So I'm trying to draw in positivity, so I'd stick with my clockwise. If ever you do one to ward off negativity, do it anti-clockwise and see how it feels for you. If it feels right and better, then you know that you're going to do different. If it sort of feels a bit wrong doing it, then stick with clockwise. That would be my answer to you, Tanya. Yes, always with gratitude, absolutely. Yes, see, Shelley's agreeing. Okay, now just to keep you on track, this is where we've got to: intent, focus stone, layout, activate. Now, some people stop there, but to me, if you stop there, you've done a lot of the base work already. You've got your grid, you're talking to the universe, but it doesn't end there. This is about maintenance. You need to maintain your intent, and you need to give your grid some maintenance. If you put your grid on a windowsill and it gets all dusty in the summer because you've got the windows open, or you know, whatever causes it, we wouldn't like to be all clogged up. So M is for maintenance. Now that maintenance is kind of like a two-part thing. So I activated this one, I didn't activate the other one. So the other one I will take apart later, but this one, my intent is in here. I've activated it. I'm going to leave this in the cabin through April. So every time, not every time, but every day that I come into the cabin, I need to go to the grid. Now, I'm a touchy-feely person, so I would touch my focus stone. If you want to, you can like pick it up, say good morning to it. But I would touch my focus stone and I would remember my intent. Thank you for helping me. I will work hard today at achieving our goal. We want to do more live sales in April. I appreciate you helping me with that. So some people run their hand over the top, but you're kind of, it feels lovely. You're absorbing that energy that your grid is giving off. Now, if you've never done this and never felt it, it's definitely worth trying. So make your grid, activate it, and then next time you come to it, just put your hands over the top. So I'm not touching, I'm just about, well, I suppose I'm about 3 inches above it at the moment. Think about your intent and then slowly talk to the crystals. Thank you for your help. Look forward to working with you, whatever makes sense to you. Just put your hand over and around it and I bet you will feel tingly. It's lovely because you are tapping into the energy fields that your grid is giving off. It is a lovely feeling. And by doing this, you're focusing your mind. It's a bit like mindfulness, isn't it? You're focusing your mind on what can I do today to achieve whatever it is your goal is. So for me, more live sales in April. What can I do today to achieve that? You're keeping your grid feeling loved and included. You're generating your mindset for the day, what you're going to be doing. So that is part of your maintenance. Hopefully that makes sense to you. maintenance could be also like the physical maintenance. You might need to get a little paintbrush and brush off the dirt. You might want to, if you're a Reiki practitioner, even if it's just level 1 for yourself rather than doing it for other people, you might want to sit here and imagine that lovely white, bright, whatever colour. My bright white light is actually very palely tinted with lilac. That's what I envisage when I'm doing it. We're all slightly different in that. Imagine it sort of swirling and washing over your grid to clear any negativity, to keep it sharp, to keep it fresh. So does that make sense? I get, oh, what's this? Yeah, I like that. A low blast from a hairdryer. Absolutely. Why not? Yeah. Test it first that it is a low blast, because some of your crystals, or like the seashells, they're very, very light. So yeah, I think that's a great idea, actually. I might even try it myself. I do like it. But start a ways away and work in gently in case you don't realise just quite how light your crystals are. They might move about. So, maintenance. Is there anything else? Oh, burning sage. There's another one. If any of you burn sage to cleanse yourself or to cleanse your room, when you're doing that, wander over, do a little waft of sage over your grid. Now, I use tincture bells quite a lot. I'm just wondering if I've got them to hand. I bet I haven't. That was silly. But I tend to not use them for the general clearing. I use them at the end when I'm deactivating a grid. So we'll talk about that in a second. So we've just talked about the maintenance. So there's your part of the maintenance, which is staying interacting with that grid, touching it, talking to it, feeling the energy from it. And there's the physical maintenance, so we'll call that the hairdryer maintenance now. I like that. So that's now we've got to here. We've got to the M. Now the next bit is easy because to me it was very important to have the M. But IFLAME, that's a bit of a weird word to remember. So I've made it IFLAME, so it's easy to remember. And the E just stands for enjoy. So you don't need to do anything, just enjoy your grid. So, intent, focus stone, layout, activate it, maintain it, and enjoy it. And to me, that is the steps of a good, successful grid. I'm going to get a drink and then I'm going to talk about options. Okay, so options. Oh, thank you, Shelley. Good. I hope my way of doing it makes sense to people. But remember, if something feels better to you, if there's something where you think, oh, I'd rather do A, C, B rather than A, B, C, then you just do whatever is helpful to you and feels right to you. Now, options. So what do I mean by this? So I'm going to move the camera so that we're looking at something a little different. So let's just Okay, so I'm going to put this one in shot for a moment. So this is the one that I'd been asked to do for vitality and self-confidence. So this is my first incarnation of it, and let's move the honours out of the way so it's not impacted. Okay, so to look at that really rings my bell. After I'd made it, I thought, well, do you know what, I really love that. And if you have made something like this, especially with what is now, I believe, Claire's tree. Oh no, it wasn't this one, it was the citrine one, wasn't it? Yeah, the citrine one. But you've got some real specimen in the middle, plus all these beautiful crystals. So to me, that is 100% going to be front and centre. It could be in the middle of your coffee table so that you're seeing it all of the time. It could be in your kitchen, because that's where you spend your morning ritual, making your coffee and planning your day. But it's going to be somewhere where you see it regularly and you can interact with it because it just looks so pretty and you want to. However, you could make a grid up of broken crystals, that I would sell off as Wonky Wednesday or something like that. So, you know, the ends are chipped. Let me see if I've got any in my box. What have I got? I can't even find my Wonky Wednesday box. But for instance, I'm pretty sure one of the things that's in it at the moment is a beautiful green fluorite palm stone, which I dropped and it's broken in half. So the last thing in the world I'm going to do is throw that away and put it in the rubbish, because it is a beautiful crystal. So maybe I want to bury it in my garden. But why not, if you're making a grid and you need certain crystals, you don't have to have your grid front and centre on display. It can be tucked back in a corner somewhere. Don't forget it, go and talk to it every day. But you don't have to have the pretty, beautiful. You could have a whole grid full of cheap, broken crystals that match their healing energies to the intent that you're trying to achieve, and that would be a cheap way of doing it. So this is what I mean by options. Don't get sucked in to it's got to be big and beautiful like this. It doesn't at all. Healing crystals are all beautiful. They do an amazing job for us. So, you know, be sensible about it. And use whatever you've got, whether it's a specimen or whether it's a sadly broken, wounded warrior, put it to good use. That would be my recommendation for some of your options. Okay, now where shall I go next? We need to have a little decide of what we're going to do. So what I might do perhaps is look at some of the grids that are on the table and explain why I've made them in the way that I've made them. Maybe that will help people understand things. And we'll take a grid and we'll make some alterations to it. One of the ones that's not activated. Again, looking at various options. So if you would all like to just have a final little look at this one. So that was made much quicker than I would normally make a grid, because I fliff and flaff. That's part of the joy and the fun of it. But do you know what? We've made it. It's perfect. I've activated it. So I'm going to move that off the table so we've got a space. But that is going to be living with me in the cabin all through April. I love it. So when I was talking about altering the crystals, let's start with this one, because then we can do a deactivation talk about as part of altering the crystals. Right. Right, Rosie, I've just read your message. Yes, none of these other than that one that I've just made have been activated. So I literally could sell any of them as is. I would have to work out the price. I have no idea. So I will work out the price of that, and I will let you know. I know the trees in the middle we were selling for £30, and then obviously we've got all the other bits as well. So I'll get you a price and let you know, and you can see what you think. Thank you, Sharon. Oh, a couple of people are talking about feeling more confident. That's music to my ears. That's what it's all about, isn't it? I love that. Okay, so looky at this one. So this is a big grid. So the one that we did before, let's show you a comparison. The one that I've just made, oh, hang on, I need to pull some of these boards out to show you the blank boards. Oh, but I don't want to knock everything over, which is what I'm about to do. Oh. That nearly got very messy. That was a bit of a skin of your teeth job. Right, so the board that I've just used on the one that I've kept was one of these. So these are, I think, 20 centimetres. Let me check. Yeah, so they're 20 centimetre boards, and they've got all of the Flower of Life. This style has got Flower of Life on it, and we sell those for £8. Now, the nice thing about the wooden boards is if you don't particularly want to follow the Flower of Life pattern, and as a for instance, I didn't over there, look, with that protection one, that's just on a plain board, then all you do is you turn it over, because the nice plain wood on the back. So that was the one I've just used. This is a bigger board, and I think somebody's asking about boards. Let me go look. Right, so this big one that's in front of us now, let us measure. It's 30 centimetres. I've just measured this one. It's 30 centimetres, and these 30 centimetre ones are quite a bit thicker. The others are like single ply, I guess you would call it. These are multiples. These are about half a centimetre thick, so they're quite deep and solid. Okay, so what have we got? What size grid board? Thanks, Claire. So the ones that I've got out for sale today do range between the 30 centimetre, which is this one here, those are £15, down to, so you saw the mid-size one, which was £8, didn't it? And we do also have right down to, this is the smallest. So on their own we sell them for £4. These are 10 centimetres. On £5 day, we often have these out with a few little clear quartz tumbles or points to go with them. So we have sort of got, shall I do this? Well, I've sort of started, shall I finish? So we've also got the sun face, so they are cut out. I was putting a background on so you could see the pattern. So we've got the sun face, which is a cutout. So that's £5 for those. We've got another £4 one, which is bigger. And that's just a smaller version of that big one that's in front of us. And it's now on the floor. Hold on. There we go. So that one's about 14 centimetres. That's £4. And those are £4. What I'll do, because this is probably not very clear, this afternoon I'll put a post up with all the different grid boards so that you can see them. And this is I love this. For those of you that do a lot of pendulum work, these are 15 centimetres. Just checked. So you can get the pendulum boards with lots and lots of information, but I've let my personal preference go here. I just like yes, no, maybe. They've got rephrase as well. So you do need to sort of use your pendulum and calibrate it. Make sure that you've got it, you know, you might need to twist it. Because if you know that yes is always up and down for you, you don't want your board like that. You want your board like that. So you would have to calibrate it a bit. But these are lovely. These are £5. We have got a black and white one, which is £7. Also 15 centimetres. So these are dual purpose. You can have them as a pendulum board, but then if you wanted a bit of gridding, you can turn them over and you've got a nice plain wooden background on them. So those are another option. I'll include those. I'm guessing it's the plain, as in the wooden pendulum board, Claire, because I think I hadn't got as far as the other one, but just to be aware, we have got the pretty black and white one as well. So just confirm which one you want, honey. Right, let me just then do some quick comment reading before I move on. So those big ones that are in front of us now, those £15 ones, this come from Amy, I think. So they're identical really. That is one side. If I turn it over, that's the other. So they really are identical. You could use either side. And a lot of them do have one drilled hole. If you were using this for gridding, obviously you're probably not going to hang it on the wall, but they can be used for other things as well. Sometimes people attach feathers and make dream catchers with them. So just be aware, some of them have got the holes just at one end. So yeah, both the same. Both sides are the same. That was Amy. Oh, Shelley, absolutely. You can do a grid on whatever you like, my lovely. So if you think about it, if I wanted a protection grid in my garden to keep people out, I could get tourmaline, big chunks of tourmaline, and put one in each corner of the garden, activate them. Obviously you've got to walk backwards and forwards with your activation wand, but it's the same process as moving it around with your hand. So they would just be big chunks of rock in my garden to form a protection grid. So you can do it on anywhere. These ones here, obviously I have put on boards. If this one, I'm just going to pull this one out. Oh, I didn't talk about this when we were talking about sleeping. This was an alternative. This is all howlite and hematite. So this is also a a grid for insomnia. But the other two are very pale and calming, very, very sort of light coloured, soft crystals. But that's not everybody's cup of tea. Some people, if they're having it in their bedroom, some people want the vibrancy. To me, that doesn't work for sleep, but that's me. To somebody else, what would resonate with them would be, you know, pretty colours. So because these are dyed howlite, doesn't matter, the properties are the same. So it's white howlite and hematite, perfect combination as an insomnia grid. And like that whole grid there is 12, what we've got a couple of hearts, so 12, 20, well, 19-20 £20 for that whole set. But anyway, coming back to Shelley, this isn't really a grid board. This is it's like a little picture frame that I use so that when I'm moving crystals around, if they sort of have a little wobble off, they can't fall off the side. So I use these a lot. So I just made this grid on here. So it's got no pattern to it. It's got no, it's just a piece of wood, basically. So yeah, you can do it on anything you like. And if you don't need to move it, absolutely do it straight onto your table or your kitchen surface, wherever you'd like. Okay, let me pop that one back and then let me see where I'd got to. Right, so I've gone back up here a little bit. So we'd got to Shelley, hadn't we? So we've answered that one. Claire, Claire, you're having one of each. Thank you. Amy, you'd like one of the black and white ones, so thank you very much. We will put one of those aside for you. I've got loads of all these boards, by the way, so fire away. Oh, Claire, you've got tourmaline in your garden. Love it. Rosie, you would like the plain pendulum board, please. Thank you very much. Yep. Okay, so I think I'm up to date. I might have missed one. I do sell pendulums. Haven't got them out today. But I'll get them out. Well, the next live is Tuesday. No, it's not. The next live is Wednesday, but that's £5 day. So the next one after that, I'll somehow include pendulums. So I think I've caught up. Okay. So this one we were talking about. So this is a big grid, and I think of this as a base set for pain relief. So let me again show you my workings out, because hopefully this helps to kind of put things into perspective for you if I show you my workings out. So we'll start with this list. So my intent, because remember we always start with intent, is about pain relief. Pause and hold that thought, because I've just had a load more comments appear. Susanna, indeed, it's £5 a day, a £5 day already on Wednesday. It has indeed come around again. Clever idea, Claire, because I would have forgotten if I'd buried them where they were. Like that one. Right, those little mini towers. So that's these ones, these little mini towers. So these are the amethyst, and it's the same ones that we had on that central grid in Tiger's Eye. Those are £3 each. And if I just pop this out for a moment and go over there. So I currently have those mini ones in Lepidolite, but I've nicked a couple of those, but I've got a drawer full, so no worries. Black Obsidian, Tiger's Eye, Sodalite, Rhodonite. Now Rhodonite is a brilliant stone for self-love, self-acceptance. I've still got that in front of me to talk about. Rose quartz and clear quartz. I've got moss, agate and amethyst. So they're £3 each, but we were doing, if somebody wanted six for 15. So basically, if you buy 5, you get 1 free. So it's either £3 each or 6 of them for £15. And obviously you can mix them up, doesn't have to be 6 of the same. So again, if it helps, I can do a little post with those mini towers, so that you can see exactly what we've got available. Pyramids are brilliant for gridding, so I've got some of those up there. Okay, that's the one that I am going to come to shortly. Well, probably not shortly, but in a little while. That is all about the self-love, self-acceptance. So I'm going to pop you back in the holder and come back to this pain relief. Right, so that was in answer to Lara. They are £3 each or 6 for 15. Julie, yes, I'm seeing you. Your last one was the thank you praying hands that came through. So yes, I think I'm seeing you. You're good. Jess, one, yeah, thank you. So I'll go through at the end and make sure I've got all of the comments off. So let's talk then about this general pain relief. So here's what I do. I start with, remember my list. So here is all the crystals, not all of them, but some of the crystals which are good for general pain relief. But if there's a crystal that like infinite stone, I had a look, I actually haven't got any of that, so I wouldn't normally have added that to my list. And then after I've got my list of what would be good, I then highlight perhaps the ones I want to use. So in this grid that's in front of us, although it's a big grid, we are talking not an expensive grid really for one of the size. I'm actually going to take it back out, sorry, so there'll be a little wobble. So what I did with this was I started in the middle with a combination of raw aragonite and 4 of the aragonite tumblestones. I'll make sure we check for your pendulum board, Julie, don't worry. So that was my start point, some aragonite. Then I did a circle of chevron amethyst. So if you're using amethyst for pain relief, go for the chevron, not the violet, not the light violet amethyst. Go for the chevron amethyst. And I just did a circle all the way around my centre bit, and then I thought, you know what, I'll just do one more circle around the edge. But this I did as a combination of raw. So you've got 4 of these big raw rose quartz pieces, so I've just put 4 of those on. And in between, so if I come to here, I've put these laser quartz, these are called. So they're clear quartz, broken off at one end, but they are the laser quartz. They've got a good point to them. So I put 4 of those on. Basically, you could think of that as like north, south, east and west. So I'll put those on. And then in between the rose quartz and the laser quartz, I used these clear quartz. They are points, but they're sort of random. They're all a bit slightly different shape, different sizes. I love those on my grids because you've got all that amplifying of the clear quartz, but you don't have to use them as like directional stones. They're great. You could if you wanted, but you don't have to. So in effect, all of that there is general pain relief, and it's done relatively cheaply. So my focus stone in the middle, the raw aragonite, that is £5. We sell those on £5 day for £5. And so great focus stone for pain relief, not an expensive one to work with. But supposing you were somebody that already had an aragonite tower, you could decide, well, I'm going to have that cheap and cheerful layout all the way around the edge, but I'm going to take my lovely tower that I've got and I'm going to put my tower in the middle because I've already got it, so why not use it? And the reason I'm calling it cheap and cheerful is like these pieces, these are like £2 each. Now, if you are flush with money, or if you've already got a specimen piece that fits on a board like this, because it's quite big, I could even take that off, make a bit of a bigger space in the middle, and we could go, do you know what? We're going to have a specimen piece of aragonite in the middle. So it's not one thing or the other, it's whatever works for you, what you've got to hand. So what that means is, if we started like this, we've activated our grid, we're up and running, we're talking to it every morning, asking it to help with the pain relief. But then we think, do you know what, I want to make a few changes. I maybe have been just given a beautiful specimen piece that I want to swap out the centre for, or my general pain relief I want to turn into headaches and migraines maybe, or arthritis, whatever it is you're suffering with at the time. So to deactivate it, because this is where I was heading, to deactivate it, when I come in, I'm doing the talking to it, I'm touching my focus stone, but this time, now I've just realised, and I hadn't realised this before, but as I went to do it, I automatically went to go anti-clockwise. So I think I must do this without realising. So my conversation, oh no, that was my sleeve, just knocked something on the floor. So my conversation with the crystals are, thank you for your help, but we're finished. Yeah, I appreciate all what you've done for me, but this project is finished. So I'm going to put you back on the shelf, in the box, wherever you keep them. And thank you for your help, much appreciated. See you again soon, type of thing. So I've done the hand movement, so I've covered all of the crystals. I would then at this stage probably both sage cleanse it and or tincture, I don't know how you say it, tincture bells, tincture, that's it, tincture bells. I like sound more than the smoke, to be honest. And while I'm doing the tincture bells and we're getting that clearance from the sound, in my mind I would also project like the cleansing, healing Reiki light to go and wash away anything that they've been working on. So that would be it. It's deactivated. Now some I might leave in place, but some I yeah, singing bowls, brilliant. If you've got singing bowls, absolutely. And Julie, no, really doesn't matter how big or small that focus stone is. Now, what you could turn around and say is, if you can manage to put something like this in it, obviously, the bigger the stone like that, then there's more energy coming off of it. So you've got a boost, really. But, you know, most people perhaps wouldn't have one of that size or be able to do that. So a little one is fine. The most important thing is your intent. It is your thought process that's going out into the universe. The intent, I'm working on the intent, thinking about it, projecting it, is the most important bit. Absolutely. So we've deactivated it, and let me grab a tray. Whoops. So if I am now, I've done a bit more research. Where's my piece of paper? Here we go. So we did our list for general pain relief, but now I want to do headaches and migraines. So here's my headache and migraine list. Here's one I prepared earlier. And what you'll see is there's lots of things. So rose quartz is on there. It's already on my grid. Amethyst is on there. It's already on my grid. This is handy because these are specific for headaches. And then down here, things that are specific for migraines. Now, some people get one or the other. Some people get both. So if you just get migraines, then you're going to look at this list and choose. Similarly with headaches. But if you get both, it's actually jet and lapis that I've highlighted are on both lists. So I don't need the rose quartz. I've already got it. I'm going to leave all the general pain relief, but I'm going to change my focus stone, and I'm going to add some jet and lapis. So we'll take that one away. So I'll have an aventurine focus stone because that's good for migraines. I'm going to add some jet. Now I can either add it to what's already there, or I can take some off and mix some in. But you know what? I think I'm just going to add it. I think that would work. Oops. Ta-da. One more. So now my focus stone is aventurine, little green aventurine energy generator point. That is surrounded by general pain relief plus jet, specifically for the migraines. And then if I had, I haven't got enough lapis here, so this is where we could say, do you know what? It doesn't have to balance. So what about if we left 2 rose quartz at the bottom, but replaced 2 of the rose quartz at the top with lapis? Now, I might prefer 4 lapis rather than 2 and 2, but if I haven't got them, just use what you've got. So with very little change, this has gone from a general pain relief to very specifically pain relief aimed at migraines. So we've done the focus stone, we've done the layout. We would now be ready to activate, and you would just activate it exactly the same way that we did the last one. Reactivate the whole board. Yeah, so this is a brand new layout. So after doing my focus stone, I'd get my wand and I would go round the whole grid again. Yeah, absolutely, always the whole. Even if I was just changing 2 stones, I would deactivate it and then I would reactivate the whole thing. Again, that's my personal preference. Some people might not, but to me, they're connected to the other stones, so it's treating it as a whole. That is how I think of it. Okay. Yeah, so the singing bowl, to me, the deactivation is the thought process and moving with my hand and talking to them, but the singing bowl is cleansing them and recharging them so that they're, you know, it's like you've done a reset on them and they're back to the beginning. The jet tumble stones are £1 each. I just seen Julie's. They're £1 each, our jet. Anybody who buys jet, do remember it's quite light. It's not as heavy as most crystals because of the formation. So sometimes you can be surprised. It's quite a big tumble, but when you pick it up, it's going to be quite light. Yeah, so they're £1 each, the jet. I've got some more in the box there. There's probably more at the back as well. Very good for migraines. I think I'm up with comments. So hopefully that made sense. That was about taking a grid, having a base set of pain relief, but then adding something specific to it. It's about any one of those 3 would work because it's about the intent more than the crystal. Yeah, Julie, 6 of the jets for you. Yes, Shelley, good point. Yeah, careful with the hairdryer with your jet because they're not as heavy as you think. Now, so one of the things that I'm going to put this down so that I stop wobbling because I am aware we're having a bit of a wobbly day. One of the things that always happens, I always imagine I'm going to get a lot more things ready than I actually do. Hopefully you can relate to that. But one thing I did do is make a base set for general pain relief that is for sale and is repeatable. So let me move this out of the way for a moment. Need to find somewhere to put it that's nice and safe. That looks okay. And let me just pull this down from the other side. So this is on a smaller board. This is the 20 centimetre board. Oh, can't quite get it all in. So this is the 20 centimetre board. Now, so this one I did price up and I put some basic general pain relief together. So this would be £18 and that does include the board. So what I've done, I've used a clear quartz as a centre focus because that then it's an amplifier. So you can clear quartz, if you haven't got an appropriate stone for your intent, go with clear quartz. Now because this is a smallish one, so I've just gone for one of the little pyramids, something which makes a really good centre stone. Can you see over there, there's that clear quartz sphere. They are beautiful as focus stones. But back to this one. So what you get in this is your focus stone in the middle. You've got 4 of the clear quartz points, which I've sort of put directional. There's 4 hearts. So you've got 2 rose quartz and 2 chevron amethyst. You've got 4 chevron amethyst tumbles and 4 aragonite tumbles. So all of the crystals in this board are really good for general pain relief. So you could use it as is for general pain relief, or of course you can then add in other crystals that you've already got or that you're purchasing, and expand this to be more specific rather than general. But you've got that really good pain relief base to get you going. So I costed that out including the board, so that was £18 including the board. So I don't know what you think of that, but that is an option that we could multiply for you, as in I've got multiples of, because I just make them up to order. Let's check where we're at with questions. Jane, no, that would be fine. You could have singles. So let me give you an example. I made a chakra balancing grid. So let's take this over here. I won't take it out the holder. Might be able to leave it in the holder and just move it. So this, hopefully you can see that. So I've gone a bit sort of bonkers in the middle, and I've got a lovely big fire and ice as my centre stone. So my intent, if I were going to activate this, my intent for chakra balancing would be within this. Now, what I did, I have put multiples of the clear quartz, the rose quartz, and some selenite on there, because they're good for like cleansing and balancing your chakras. But I've only used one specific crystal for each chakra. So there is one carnelian. So I have used quite big tumbles for this part of it. There's one citrine. There's one green aventurine. So I just use one of each to correspond. Now, obviously, on that particular background, have we got one? So that's one of these big chakra grid boards. Those are also 30 centimetres. It kind of works really well because you've got that colour. I like these if it's anything to do with the chakras. But, and again, they're plain on the back, just white. These are only £7 because they're cardboard. So they're not wood, these are just cardboard, but they're nice, good, solid cardboard. They are great, actually. To me, that's all I need. I've interspersed the chakra stones with some violet amethyst. That's part of the chakra balancing properties, but for the actual one per chakra, no, that's fine. Similarly, because I'm trying to give you examples, over there, just tucked in, there's a little that's actually, oh, you can't see it, sorry. That is actually a centre stone of clear quartz, little sphere, and a set of chakra hearts. So again, one of each, because it's representative of something. If you were doing a representation of your family, you might have 3 people in your family, 3 different stones of different types to represent the people in your family, if that makes sense. So that one is my chakra balancing grid. Let me just check. Right, so those chakra boards, that we said were £7, weren't we? So we've got one of those going to you, Shelley, thank you. Let me go back, I've missed something. So Jane, I think I've just answered yours. Shelley, Perry. Forgive me for laughing, Shelley. I've just read, and what came to mind was you need a very big board because it's for multiple things, isn't it? So, sort of, you know, not laughing. as much. This is, to me, where this would come in. List out all of the things. So like on that manifesting one, so you'd be searching for menopause, hormones, brain fog, all those different things. Then look at your list and see which crystals cross over, and then that would narrow it down so that you could concentrate on those crystals that were doing more than one job at a time for you. That's how I would tackle something like that. I'm not going to spout them off the top of my head, because I'm 100% positive my head is working all that well today. But that's how I would go about it. I'm happy to help further outside of the live. I'm glad you saw the funny side of that. I've just seen your smiley faces. I thought it was a bit rude when I started laughing, wasn't it, really? But it did make me chuckle. Okay, now let me come over here, and I guess what I'm going to do is work my way along a couple of the other grids just to I'm going to say finish us off, because we're getting close to a couple of hours now. So we'll look at a couple more of what we've got here, which might bring up some questions that we can answer for you. And I do have back in stock, which I've got out to show people. Some of you that are on here with me this morning are on the waiting list for the light for the spheres. I have got them back in, and before I just had the plain light ones. I've now got plain or multicoloured, so I'm going to do a quick demo on those. I just disappeared away and grabbed my drink. I'll be with you in a sec. Okay, right. You're just going to get one of every crystal. I like it. Just do a big spiral shape, one of every crystal that you've got. Okay, so this one here is quite an unusual layout, and I probably wouldn't normally do a combination of, like, there's a nice big raw piece, but then there's a carving in the middle. But there was a reason why this one came into play, so I'm going to explain it to you. So again, you can see how the process of building it comes together and works. Although saying that, where's my where's my little I've lost my piece of paper. Oh, there it is behind. Oh, that was efficient. I never thought to look there. Right, so I was asked for create a grid for asthma. So what I did was searched for asthma, but then what's related? Difficulty in breathing. I found out that serpentine, I didn't know this, helps absorb oxygen. Good to know. We've got a list of things for the lungs. A lot of asthma is aggravated by allergies. So I've got a list of things that are good for allergies. Carnelian, very good for pollen. And breathlessness, I think, was the other one. So then I looked at what have I got and what swaps over. And the one that stood out more than anything was apophyllite. It's on a lot of those lists. So although it wasn't in my original plan, I then thought, well, I've got to have apophyllite on this grid. So I found a nice small piece of apophyllite. It's actually got a nice bit of stilbite in it as well, but a lovely piece of apophyllite. Now ordinarily that I would have made my focus stone, but this was made specifically for somebody. I don't know a lot about the person, but what I do know is she loves animals. So for my focus stone, I found a crystal that was good for asthma. So that's Kambaba Jasper, which is great for anything to do with oxygen in your lungs. And I wanted a crystal that, in my mind, resonated with her. So I found one that was an animal in an appropriate crystal. So that went on, that became my focus stone to start with. I was determined to include the apophyllite because it crossed over into all those different areas, and then I did the layout using a combination of the other crystals on that selection that we worked our way through. And one thing is worth saying, amber does pop up for a lot of healing properties. It's a strong healer. We know technically it's not a crystal because it's fossilized tree resin, but the healing properties of amber, it's fantastic. Now, if you buy amber as the polished Baltic amber, a piece half this size, oops, so a piece half that size would be £5 or £6. But if you're happy to buy the non-polished, and that's what these pieces here are, you can see more so probably on that one, we do bags of these, so you'd probably get about 4 pieces like this for a £5. And for a healing point of view, you don't need the polished tumblestone, you just want some amber on your grid. So that's what I've gone for. That apophyllite piece there with the steel bite on it, that's £15. That was Jane, isn't it? Yeah, that's £15, that one. So that's how this grid came into being. So a bit different, not what I would normally envisage, but when I follow the process, I need something appropriate so that when I'm looking at that, I can think of the lady that it would be for. So if I were to activate this, obviously every time I do it, I'm thinking of her, and that needed to be included. So that's what we've done. Now, all of those put together, so we said that was 15, they're 12, and then you've got the other bits as well, that those we normally do is two for a £5. So you can see the price of that would be racking up as we go. Jane, thank you very much. That apophyllite is now yours, my lovely. Thank you. Oh, what was that one? I'm sure I can find some, Jess, because it does. Oh, can't. I'm so sorry. I can't speak for some reason. They come in mixed size bags, so I could like scoot through and find some small pieces for you. Yeah, no problem at all. Now, talking of small pieces, which ties in nicely to what I was talking about, so the price of that as a unit would have been racking up. We know that's gone anyway, but that's not the point. So maybe you want something for your asthma really quickly. You've got to go with smaller and what you've got. So this also is an asthma grid. Now, this is where some people might totally and utterly disagree with me, and that's fine. That just means they wouldn't do it, what I'm about to explain. But I'm all about, if it feels right, I'm going to do it regardless. So here, what I've done, I've made a small grid. I've got my amplifier, I've got Kambaba Jasper and pyrite, those small pieces there, they're lovely little bits of pyrite, and the violet amethyst, all of which are good for breathing and asthma. But what I've done with this one, instead of having a focus stone my focus stone is a pendant. So this is a rather lovely Kambaba Jasper pendant, and although most of the time when you have a grid you put your crystals on it and you leave them on there, actually there's nothing to say that you have to. So for me, with a pendant, I can wear this during the day out and about. I've got my asthma fighting pendant on. Now after I get home, I can take it off, I can put it back in the centre of my grid where it continues to work as a focus stone. And it's almost like, because they're connected, because I would have activated this, so they're all connected, overnight my pendant is getting that boost from the rest of the stones. So tomorrow I get up, I take my pendant, I wear it again. I do that quite a lot with crystal jewellery. I know there's some people that say, no, that's not really what it's all about. But do you know what? It works for me. And I always feel like my jewellery has been boosted. It's not just bunged on the side somewhere and I pick it up again tomorrow. There's clear quartz in here, which helps to cleanse other crystals anyway. So it's really, to me, that's a beautiful way of doing it. Now, if I take the pendant aside, and just before I carry on, let me just go up. Susanna, the Kambaba Jasper, is it the pendant that you were asking about? The pendant is £10. If it wasn't the pendant, if it was the tumbles, they're normally £1 each, the Kambaba tumbles. I think we've got to the end of, yeah, okay, we've got to the end of comments. So whereas we were saying the cost of that one would be racking up, this one, you know, if we want to blur the lines a little bit, let's not include the cost of the pendant, because that's your jewellery that you're wearing anyway. So what we've got here, to buy that board was £4 without the crystals. Then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just a few of those little ones. So, you know, for we'll call it 7. So hang on a minute, I can't do my maths. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So basically for a tenner you would be able to get that board, those little crystal mix, and you've got an asthma grid board there that you can choose what you then add as your focus stone. So there's another alternative for you, different way of doing things. 3 of the tumbles, absolutely, Susanna, I'll add those to your box, thanks honey. Now Claire Chip, not sure if you're still there. I have a feeling Kambaba Jasper jewellery was something you'd asked me about. I have just had a delivery, which is where that one has come from. But I've got some other nice pendants as well. So I'll try and remember to do a post so that you can see them. Now, unfortunately, it was ages ago, but Jess. Now, I've got 2 Jesses that have been with us this morning. But one of you was asking about a grid for self-love. Now, this one, we're kind of nearly there with this one, because this came about as part of the self-confidence, because I did the big grid as a vitality and self-confidence. It was you, Claire. Good. All right, when I've done the post I'll tag you so you can have a look at it. But as the alternative to that big grid, for a vitality and self-confidence, I made this little one. Now, if I take the agate off, because the agate is more about, it's more about the vitality, and we were talking about self-love, weren't we? What's left on here? You have a rhodonite. These are the little £3 towers. So we've got a rhodonite tower. We've got 6 of the mini, I don't know if you can see this. These are tiny little garnet nodules. So garnet is brilliant for self-love and self-acceptance, because you have to accept yourself before you can open yourself up to love from other people. You've got to accept yourself for who you are. And these are brilliant for that. They do work with the heart chakra, but the healing properties are all about accepting yourself. So we've got your amplifiers. So I've got a couple of clear quartz and a couple of clear quartz stars. So some is tumble, some are stars. So if I just took off the pink agates, and I'd put the pink agates on because the colours matched, but if we're just talking self-love as opposed to the vitality as well, I'm going to run off and find some different tumbles. So let me just pop this down, let you all look over there for a minute. So what shall we go? We could go rhodonite. Right, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. I couldn't find any small rhodonite. And obviously, rhodonite is certainly not the only one. But because I've put rhodonite in the middle, I thought I might put some rhodonite around the outside to match. But you could also go something like rose quartz or ruby and zoisite. But what I'm going to do is put some little-ish rhodonites, and I'm also going to add, we're going to end up with too much, don't want it to look too messy, so we're going to put rhodonite, and then on the bottom half I'm going to put lepidolite. Very versatile lepidolite. Lepidolite, we think of it about stopping like stress and anxiety, but it's got lots of other properties as well, and helping you accept yourself and love yourself is one of the things that it could do. So what we've got here, so I actually took some off and put some other ones on, and it's not a coincidence. Sometimes people sort of look at the rhodonites and they're like, it's a bit, you know, it's not pretty, is it? It's not pretty, not like when you look at the coloured agates and that. But that's what self-love is all about, isn't it? At the base of us, we're a great person, but we're flawed. We're all flawed. If you think you don't have any flaws at all, then to be honest, you're just deluding yourself, because we all have some. And rhodonite has a lot of this black in it, and it's all about, you know, whatever the beauty is that's there. You might have a beautiful soul, but it is going to be flawed, and that's what rhodonite kind of represents. Same with the garnet. When you get raw garnet, it's dark. It doesn't look particularly pretty, but it is incredibly strong, garnet, as a healing crystal. And if you catch it right with the light on it, you can see some beautiful sort of red flashes from the garnet. But you know, same with us as people, the pretty stuff is not there all the time. There's flashes of it, but it's within us, doesn't mean it's always on the surface all of the time. So sometimes it's not a coincidence that something like this, a little mini grid for self-love, might not be the prettiest grid, but those are the crystals that are going to do the job to help you see yourself in a different light. So again, it's on a £4 board. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that one would be about £12 for that whole set. We often, when we're doing them as sets, they work out a bit cheaper than if you buy them individually. So if I was selling that as a set, that would be a £12 set. So that's an example of a little one. Obviously, you could make bigger ones for yourself based on the crystals you've got. So what else? I've forgotten now what I was going to show you. I know what it was. It was the lights, wasn't it? Oh, hang on a minute. What's that question? Yeah. How about, oh, without the board. So that would be 8 then. The boards are 4. So that little bundle of crystals that in front of us, £8. Because I said 12 with the board, didn't I? So that would be 8 without. Now, last thing then was a reminder that you can pop other things in the middle. So you could take a little chakra, a mini chakra grid, make that your, in effect, the focus in the middle. You could take one of the lovely stars that we've got, those in 4 different crystals. That could be the middle of your grid, and you work your way out. So it doesn't have to be a single crystal as such, and you can make it, if it's going to be decorative, then something like that one. So these are the fancy, big fancy sphere holders. If you were putting a sphere in the middle, that would look lovely in the middle of a grid. Okay, Catherine, thank you. We'll do you a set of those, no problem. Hello, Anne-Marie. And right, I need to pull down. Okay, so 2 things. So things like this. I showed you the raw rose quartz earlier, which are £2 each. This is a lovely white calcite, big chunky piece, white calcite. That would just be £3 each. Would those sort of things, shall I do some posts on the grid so that you can pick out some of the popular raw crystals for gridding? You tell me yay or nay. Would that be useful for you to sort of top up your supplies? When we come to £5 Day, we'll have all of the gridding tumbles and all of the sort of fancy, like these, what's the word, the raw pieces and the chips. So we'll have all of those out on Wednesday evening. Oh, that white piece of calcite, Anne-Marie. Yeah, that's yours then for £3. That one up there that I've just showed. Thank you. Julie, what is the pointy thing? Love that. Here we go. So we call them chakra stars is what we call them. So this one is actually clear quartz. So that would make, you can use them individually, or you could make that as the center of your grid, which is amazing. And the reason they're called the chakra stars is that although there's 7 clear quartz points, each one has got the little colored stone to represent the chakra that it's associated with. So we do these are £19 each, and we do these in rose quartz, clear quartz, black obsidian, or chevron amethyst. They are gorgeous. In the middle that is a glass sphere, not a clear quartz sphere. They all come through with the glass sphere in the middle, just so that you are aware. Right, I'm going to try and pull down the spheres. I'm going to have to put the camera down and just pull these down properly, because there's 2 of these in, and I need to show you what they look like, because some of you who are on the list for clear might prefer a multi-change now that they're in. So I think I've pulled them down. I just need to get them turned on now. Where's my oh, there we go. Is that one on? Okay, I've got them. So these are the £10. I've just put what's to hand, but actually I could put the sphere. Let's put the sphere on, probably look better. So these are what I had before. So this is the one that was in stock before. This is the clear coloured light, or white light I should say. So it's like for your spheres or your eggs, or you can put bigger pieces on there as well. So that is what people had been waiting for. So I will contact the people that are on my list, but I have put some aside for the people on my list, so anybody can claim. We'll have enough this time around. But what also came are these. So it's the same design. Some of them are darker, some of them it's paler, where the wood's been well, they burn it, I think, don't they? I've forgotten what it's called. But this one, so what I've put on there is just a white selenite sphere, which we sell for £10. They're multi-change. So if we just look at it, you're going to see it going through all the different colours. Now, on the selenite, you're going to get light and dark, because selenite is quite banded inside, so some bits are thicker than others, so you can see that on the colour change, which is amazing. If I put the clear quartz, if I swap them, if you put clear quartz on a colour change, it's more of a uniform colour. So they are back in stock. They are £10 each. They're USB lamps, multicolour or white. So even if you're on my list, if you're watching, feel free to claim if you would still like one, then I know which one you like, and I will eventually get around to contacting people. Okay, we're up to date. Now, one of the other things that somebody had asked for, I think it was Sonia, who isn't with us this morning, had asked about pens. And I thought, oh, what a lovely idea. So feast your eyes on these. I've got 2 pens in. I'll put them over here where the lighting's better. So we have a blue pen, which is lapis chips inside it. So it's appropriate really with lapis, because it often, if you're writing, I know we do it all on the computer these days, but we used to write to our friends, didn't we? Or we would still write out birthday cards perhaps. So lapis is associated with friendship as well as wealth. So we've got the blue ones with lapis, and then we've got the purple ones which have got amethyst. Am I too close? I don't know what you can and can't see. They're full of amethyst chips. So what I do need to just make you aware of with these pens, I will tell you in a minute which is black and which is blue, because they're different colours. So let me scribble. Right, so the amethyst one is black ink and the blue one is blue ink. That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? To turn them on and off, can you see there's the nib? You twist that nib area, so that nib's disappeared. retracted. And then as I twist it, the nib comes back out. I was pressing the end and trying to twiddle all the top, but it's done down here, the mechanism. So those beautiful pens are £12 each. You've got your crystal chips inside them. So there's lapis or amethyst. I will bring these out again on our next giftware day, because what a beautiful gift that would make. But as they're here, I couldn't resist showing them off. Right, let me just check my comments. Claire, you're going to have one of each of the lights, that was, wasn't it? An amethyst pen for you, Diana. Thank you very much, lovely. We will do that for you. Okay, so I've been rabbiting on here for about 2.5 hours, so I feel I really ought to stop now. So I'll yeah, I do hope to. I do hope to, Claire, because I think they're gorgeous. So I think I've bought a dozen of each for now. So that will keep us going for a little while anyway. But yes, I can see that as a regular line. So I'll just do a little scan round as a little reminder of what we've been doing. This afternoon, I will, later on, after I've had a little crash, I'll come back out and I'll do some posts with the bits and pieces, so that you can see all the little bits that we've talked about and the various options that we've got. But that has allowed you to have a good look. Oh, I'll tell you why I bought that one back out. We had him out the other day. It's a huge energy generator point, but embarrassingly, I'd forgotten the name. I knew it was within Serpentine, but I'd forgotten the name of the inclusion. And I've got it written down, so I will tell you what it is in just one moment. It's something like Christophile. That's not right, is it? That doesn't sound right. I'll have to put the camera down and I'll run off and find it. Yes, I've lost it. Right, it's chrysotile. Yeah, chrysotile is what it's called. So as I was a bit embarrassed I couldn't tell you what it was called, I thought I would just pop it back on the table so I could tell you. So some of those beauties up the back there have gone. What's left I will get back out next time we do a live. Not obviously Wednesdays. I don't know why I keep saying Tuesday. He's new. Look at him. He's gorgeous as well. Great big labradorite turtle. I've never had one that big before. So final plug. There we go. So our next live is this Wednesday night, 7:30, £5 night. So everything on the table Wednesday night, £5. As you know, it does get chaotic. Now, I have been thinking all this week about our grids and what we're going to be doing. And as you know, the grid I made was all about increasing the live sales in the cabin, which got me thinking. I put blocks in my own way just far too often. I shouldn't do it, and I know I do. That lovely big lab turtle is £59. Who was that? Claire. It's £59, my lovely. I can do some close-ups at some point. So after, let me just explain this, after £5 day, it's always absolute chaos in the cabin, because there's like so many orders that have been laid out waiting for processing. So I was thinking, oh, next weekend is Easter, it's going to be a nightmare getting organised to try and do anything. And then I thought, do you know what, you're doing it again, you're putting blocks in your way. Stop it. If the chaos that is in the cabin is there, just have a chaos in the cabin live sale. So as part of my intent, my manifestation that I've been thinking about this week around doing more, I'm not going to worry about the chaos. So instead of having, on Friday night, instead of having and we'll do another one Sunday morning. So instead of our normal crystals and a cuppa on the Sunday morning, next weekend is all about chaos in the cabin. So I am just going to put out whatever I feel like. There'll be no theme. There might not be lots of chat about the properties because it will be chaotic, but I'm just going to put out a lovely selection of crystals so that you can come along and have a look at them. So that's me actively maintaining, remember the maintenance part, actively maintaining the purpose of my grid, the maintenance. So we're embracing the chaos. Who said that, Shelley? Absolutely. So that's our next two. We've got Wednesday at 7:30, £5 day, and we've got Friday 7:30, 30 even. And who knows what will be on the table? It'll be a surprise. Okay, so thank you so much, folks. I will see you again soon. Take care and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Really appreciate you joining me.